Okay, so tell me your name and what it is you do exactly.
Okay, well, I'm glad to have this opportunity to talk to you today. My name is Will Phillips. I'm a school psychologist with East Baton Rouge Parish Schools.
Okay, and how exactly did you get into doing psychology?
Oh, I guess a number of influences. Psychology was just an area of interest, and it's a very broad area, so there are many subfields that you can get involved in. I had done some, sub-teaching as as a way of making money at one time. Studied psychology at the university level and majored in industrial psychology. So it was kind of like a system, an organizational sort of focus that I had. Parents had worked in schools, and just somewhere along the way, just things sort of meshed, and I found that I wanted to apply the principles of psychology in a school setting.
Okay. Well, you seem to be a perfect fit for the interview because my research paper was actually on censorship in the media and how it affects children. So as a child psychologist, I need your opinion and how you feel about what exactly goes on and what effects the media is having on children now. So my first question would be, how much television would you suggest children should be watching a week?
Well, I think it would be difficult to say in particular, but know this, that already research does indicate that right now what kids are watching is anywhere from almost like 10 hours to almost 30-some hours of television a week. 10 to 30 hours of television a week. That's a lot of time.
Yes.
And in terms of saying how much should they watch, well, I guess that really depends on what are they watching. Because there are a number of factors we need to keep in mind when we think about it. What's the quality of the television programming that they're watching? The amount of time that they're spending watching television? Is there an opportunity for them to develop some creative way? When they're listening to the things that they listen to, are they creative in their thinking about it, asking questions, analyzing it, knowing that what they watch, is it appropriate, helpful, not those sorts of things need to go on. And is it age appropriate? So it's quite a number of things that really go into how much they should be watching.
And you did say what's appropriate. Well, it's also becoming kind of easier, I guess, for parents to monitor what exactly their kids are watching, but at the same time, there are ways to get around it.
Yes.
Is there anything that you think parents should, any suggestions on how they should monitor what their kids watch?
I'm not aware of the technologies, like, chips, yes, being able to lock off certain stations, so those types of things parents can certainly do. But I think maybe more importantly what parents could do is sit down with their kids and look at the TV schedule, get an idea of why are we watching TV? Is it for entertainment? Okay, if we're watching it for entertainment, what kinds of shows are going to relay entertainment that's in line with the family value? Is it something, and so that idea of sitting down with them and programming what's going to be watched for the week is something that could definitely be done. And then they can set these stations, but setting a station doesn't mean that you're going to get quality programming.
Right.
When you look at Saturday morning programming, look how varied it can be depending on what station you're watching. There are some stations that if you watch them, you may learn how to develop a menu for a family. what are the best types of things to eat, things that relate to relationship building, dressing, consumer behavior. Then on others, we're looking at action cartoons or other type of programming, movies even, because now what do we have? We have access to, I can't think of the name of some of the channels, kind of like Hulu and I can't, but they have access to that type of programming. So it's, with that broader spectrum out there now, if you're not really sitting down and deciding on what the programming is and what's going to be watched at certain times, so that when you do come in, you have a good idea of what they should be looking at, it would be difficult.
Also, video games are becoming very prevalent in everyday child life. And some of the things that are on the video games aren't appropriate, even if they do say that they're age appropriate. That's sometimes kind of, And what exactly do you think video games, what type of role do you think they play?
Video games, just like TV, music videos, all of those things can be great entertainment. They can be informative. Again, it's the product itself. What is it? How was it designed? Grand Theft Auto,
Right.
but what are you being taught? And so I mean, again, it's the design of the program, if someone has a game that has, let's say, a purpose that can lead to experiences that might improve the quality of life for that person, that's one thing. But there are some games that are not pro-social in nature. Right. They promote violence. They can impact how you value life. Some folks have difficulty sometimes after playing a game separating the game from reality. Not really realizing sometimes the impact that their actions can have on others. I mean, serious consequences that in a game, there really aren't consequences. It just starts over again.
Right.
Over again,
You just get a new life.
But in real life, that's not the way it is. And sometimes we get desensitized to that realization.
That actually led into my next question. Do you think it's hard for children to recognize the difference between what's fiction and what's real?
I think it definitely can, and it depends on what that person's diet is too, doesn't it? Like if we have someone who has, just games that are, like I said, not pro-social in nature, then the programming that they watch on TV is not pro-social in nature. The music that they listen to is not pro-social in nature. And they constantly just hear that sort of stuff over and over and over again, and what it promotes is lack of concern for others, me, blame, violence, versus things that are more virtuous. And again, it could be that, okay, yes, someone may have a little splattering of that, but then there are others that's 90% of their diet, or 95% or 100%. They will not watch. If we're talking about maybe someone even 5 years old, 6 years old, may not even watch a Sesame Street. They're starting, the meat that they're eating is, action movies,
Well, what role do you think television or the media, period, should play in children's lives? Do you believe that they should try and split it up 50-50 on what the particular diet is?
Television is awesome. Television is awesome, I think, in terms of what it can contribute. We have quite a number of channels where we can learn things about nature, science in general. We can learn political information. it's a matter again of sitting down, being selective in what we watch, or if there are things that we're wanting to learn more information about, exploring those things, versus just sitting down and absorbing everything that the networks or the cable throws your way. Being selective.
Do you feel that parents sometimes are to blame for what exactly their children are watching? Because even if, okay, my parents are blocking off everything I'm watching, it's only the educational things that I get to see. They don't know what happens when I come to school. They don't know what happens at the workplace, and it becomes difficult to censor what exactly your children are saying. So do you think parents are at fault, or
Some parents can be. I think it is definitely the parents' responsibility to really, assist their child in acquiring taste.
right?
So like when I say taste, I'm just saying there are family. You're hoping that there are family values that are developed. What family values? Citizenship. We want people to recognize that you are a part of society, and as a part of society, you have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to that family unit, to one another. So there are behaviors that you need to acquire that promote, quality family relations, quality relations with your neighbors, quality relationships as a citizen of this country. Your involvement in, let's say being charitable, with your time, with your monies, and if the types of experiences that parents expose their kids to and sit down and interact with them on about what they're watching and about the value of what they're watching, or if this is just common, this is something that's just entertainment, or in helping them to label, understand what it is, and to possibly identify those things that are even important and maybe those things that aren't. That's the sort of thing that that a person carries with them. They always say about providing somebody with food, but then at the same time teaching them how to fish, how differently life could be for them.
You can help for yourself.
So the same thing is right there with a child. If very early on they can be taught to realize what is educational and informative, what is helpful, what is hurtful when they're watching it, what's appropriate for me to see and what's not appropriate for me to see, so that when they are not with you, they learn to evaluate the content and to learn to understand the impact that it can have, it can't have, because there's so much, even looking at the news, there are things that you should be exposed to and not exposed to. Every time we have a catastrophe, it plays over and over and over and over again. Yes, that's news, but how much exposure does someone need to have, or have exposure without there being conversation, so as to help them process what they're watching?
Well, I actually believe that'll probably conclude our interview. I thank you for your time. I appreciate you coming and doing this a second time.
Okay.
And you've helped me a lot, and I appreciate you taking your time. Thank you.
I enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
All right.